Okay. Long time no see. There's not really a good way or an easy way to start this video because it's been a long time. Your girl's been a little busy and distracted. The last video I think I posted on here was my eyebrow pencil review, which was like easily 2 years ago, maybe a little bit over 2 years ago. Oops. But I got like reminded and of like the fact that I haven't posted in a really long time, and honestly I was like, you know what, I really want to make a YouTube video. So I don't really know what this video is gonna be, but I just like want to talk about life. Like, let's just sit down and talk about a moment, you know. A lot has happened in the 2 years that I haven't, you know, talked to you guys. As you can see, a lot is different. I am no longer in my Milpitas house. I did a couple videos in my bedroom, my childhood bedroom where I was living with my parents, here on YouTube. I'm no longer in that house. I moved, I moved into my, purchased house, my condo that, I moved into in March. So yes, I, purchased a condo. No, I'm totally kidding. This actual entire process of me buying the place is like super humbling. Like I still don't think I deserve this place, like at all. And I'm like, it's honestly just been such a blessing. Like honestly, such a blessing that I am able to, one, be able to financially afford a house. Two, where my house is located, I am like still like my mind is blown because never, I like wouldn't think that the city that I'm in Walnut Creek. I never would imagine that I would be living here because I thought that this was a place in the Bay Area that was just too unobtainable for me, or like even just young adults such as myself. So yeah. And then three, I didn't think that I, as a 25-year-old woman living by myself, no roommates, would be owning a home. Just period. I'm still like wrapping my head around it. Every single time I wake up in the morning, I'm like, this place is mine. Like, this is crazy to me. It's not even like I'm renting. It's actually mine. And it's so amazing. Like, it really, really just like blows my mind every single morning, and I'm truly humbled. So I'm gonna make jokes that it's like, oh yeah, I'm super bougie. Oh yeah, like I own a home. No, it's all jokes, believe me. I am really, really thankful for my house. I'm like beyond grateful to God that I have a place over my head that I get to call my own. And it's been a roller coaster of emotions, like, honestly. But at the end of the day, like, I am still 100% thankful and grateful for everything that has happened to lead me up to this point. So you're probably wondering, how does a 25-year-old woman own a home in like one of the world's like most expensive areas, aka the Bay Area in California? Which, if you're not from California and you still don't even know what the hell like Bay Area means, it's basically, it's the little peninsula circle that basically covers like the San Francisco area. If you still don't know where that is, it's basically mid-northern. It's technically Northern California, but it's like towards the middle. It's very confusing. But anyways, find where San Francisco is on your map and basically around there. I'm on the other side of, I guess the easiest way to describe it is Oakland. So I'm technically East Bay. I'm on that side, but I'm in the valley. So there's like a mountain range that basically go, or a bunch of hills that goes in between Oakland and where I'm in the valley. So I'm in like a forest, and over here there's a lot of golf courses and such. So it's just very pretty out here. And not very like industrial like the rest of the Bay Area is, where there's a lot of tech companies and apartments and like all this other stuff. So let's rewind a little bit. This entire process started about almost exactly a year ago. So yeah, I think it started in October. So I had just turned 25, and I think it was like a week after my birthday. So it was like mid-October, and I had made a goal. So I don't know if your guys' brains are like this, or maybe it's just my personality, because I like to have everything like timed out accordingly. I kind of think like a project manager, but in terms of like my project is life. I had kind of created this like life timeline that I wanted to have, where it's like an obtainable goals basically, and I'm going to work towards those goals as like KPIs, key points of interest, as kind of like benchmarks on where I should be in life. So, and then I think I came up with this like either in high school or like early college. So easily I was like 18 or 19 when I came up with this plan. When I was 25, I wanted to do two things. So I wanted to own a home, and I wanted to get a tattoo. My birthday is October 4th, so this is September 4th. Oh my God, my birthday's in a month. That's so great. So today's September 4th, and yeah, I just like really wanted to get those two things off my list. So during college, I was very broke. I would work a lot. I would work a lot of jobs in order to try to pay for my like everyday needs and my books per semester. And I took a lot of classes, so I had a lot of textbooks that I needed to do. And like any of you business majors out there, holla. You know that business books are not super cheap, and unfortunately, like, business is always changing, and this is how it was at Corbin University. I don't know if it is like for your university, but because business is always changing, we couldn't get the old version of the books. We had to get like updated versions of the books, because it's outdated. Like, business moves so fast, and especially in terms of like marketing strategies and all that stuff, there's like constantly new versions of marketing that is constantly coming out, and we would have to buy the new versions of the books, which were easily like $200 more than the old versions of the books that we could have easily gotten. But there was like that little bit of like updated information that we needed in our class, so we had to buy the updated version. So I would easily spend like almost close to like $1,000 per semester buying all my books that I needed for the year. And that was like, sometimes it would go over $1,000. It was just crazy. I think the most expensive book that I bought was like $600. It was crazy, insane. College is expensive, guys. It's insane. Anyways, and so it was really hard for me to save up money, apart from all of that, because all of the money that I obtained from the jobs would go like straight into my book fund. It wasn't until I got a full-time job after college that I started saving money. And it's honestly really, really crazy. And I got a salary job right away. And it was pretty good paying. But I really think that the main factor of allowing me to live on my own was living with my parents. I never once rented, like never rented. The closest thing that I got to renting was living in the dormitories all 4 years of college, because like, you know, you're living under a roof that's not yours. You're basically paying rent because you're paying for the dorm on like a monthly, yearly basis. and you're living with another person. So yeah, I did that. So I lived all 4 years in the dorms, and right out of college, I always lived with my parents. Like, and they were very sweet. They always fed me, so I didn't have to pay for groceries. I did have to pay for gas. I had to drive to work, every single day. And I did pay them a little bit of rent. So here in the Bay Area, I think the average amount of rent per month is like $2,300. I might be wrong on that. It might be actually more, but I know for a fact in Milpitas, it's like at least $1,500 per month. And that's for like a room, basically. And a lot of my friends, actually, a lot of people my age are living in those kind of conditions, or they're paying for something a little bit bigger, but then they have like 3 roommates, in order to make the rent a little bit cheaper. I am noticing that because I am very controlling, again, project manager mindset, I'm very, very controlling, and I like everything to be super particular. I don't really like other people's lives kind of intersecting with mine, especially when it comes to like day-to-day living. And so I've realized very quick during college is that I don't really get along with roommates, and I don't really like the idea of roommates. And so I never wanted to live on my own because of fear of I would have to get another roommate in order to afford to live on my own. And even though I had a full-time job right out of college, it still took a lot of time in order to save up enough money where I could even consider living on my own. And it never once was like an option for me to like rent. And no shade to those who rent. Like, no shade at all. Like, you do what you gotta do. And some people can't live on their own because, one, just like there's no room, or their parents won't let them move back in. So or they're living in a completely different area than their family. And I totally respect that, and I don't shade you at all. If I was put in that kind of situation, I totally would be too. Like, let's just be real. But yeah, I never wanted to rent because I just like, I hated the idea of getting a roommate that I couldn't get along with. And, or even just like being in a situation where I could not pay rent because I would probably afford rent for like the first 3 months, and then I'd be like in debt. And I never wanted to be in that kind of toilet bowl of losing money constantly. So, yeah. Fast forward, I would just constantly, save money. And my birthday happened last year. And I just like woke up one day and I was just like, okay, well, I'm 25 now. Let's go look for houses. So I have a couple friends, family friends that are realtors. And so I reached out to one of them. And she was so sweet. She was like, oh yeah, I'd love to help you. I grew up with her daughter. So, yeah, this woman is actually my parents' friend. And, her daughter's my age. Her daughter's a little bit older than me. I think she's 2 years older than me. But we grew up together. We were in choir together when we were in elementary school. So, yeah, I know her daughter very, very well. And she's a very, very close friend with the family. So I trusted her. And she knew me. And since she had a daughter who's like almost my age, who recently also got a home, I knew she knew what a young woman living on her own would want in terms of like a home and a safe place to live. And so I enlisted her help. We started looking at listings like right away. I think starting in like the last week of October. We would meet. And she would come over to my house, we'd cook dinner for her and like everything, and we would just like discuss what I would want in terms of like living, and what would be nice to have, what was like unnecessary, like need this kind of thing. So it felt very much like a HGTV show where it was like me listing like what I would like and what I would want and what I would need. And that was like really, really nice. And we came up with a couple. My mom and I were looking on the side. So we would go over to like Fremont, which is the next town over from Milpitas, look at a couple, but then we were noticing that like some of them were really weird. I think it's really hard if you have a certain idea of what you want and then you go out and try to find it in reality, it's not really going to match up. And so we were just like constantly looking and it was becoming a pain. And then, we got further and further away from Milpitas, which I think is what I was truly looking for, because the job that I had, or had just like recently gotten, was a full-time role in San Francisco, which Milpitas is an hour south of San Francisco. And so the commute was starting to get really bad. And so I was trying to find something a little bit closer. So we were looking more north and north and north and north and north as time progressed, and more listings that we were checking out were kind of, so we were checking out a couple more, and then this like one listing in Concord, which is in my area, came up, and I went to go check it out with my boyfriend and my realtor, and I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. And so I put in an offer. It got accepted and all this other stuff. Turns out that that place had kind of like, was under the wrong price for what it was. And there was some like legality and government restrictions in terms of that. It was technically a BMR, a below market rate home. And at that point, the government decides on who should be living there, because it's supposed to be a certain value of like income in order to be eligible to live there. And I fit it, but then if I ever made more than that income margin, then they would have a means to kick me out. And that's not what I wanted for my first home. And so when I found that out, I canceled my contract with that listing. But I did fall in love with this area, the county that it was in, while I was on contract for 2 months with that one property. So that started in January. So all of January and February, I was on contract for that other listing. And I was constantly going back and forth to Concord to go and work out with contractors and vendors and all this other stuff, and my realtor for this one listing. And so I was always driving through Walnut Creek, which is where I am now. And I would be like, oh wow, this area is really pretty. And so when that contract fell apart, I basically went over to my realtor, and she was like, okay, well, we're back to the drawing board. We need to go look at listings. And I was like, I want a home in Walnut Creek. And she basically told me it was going to be really, really hard because it's very expensive out here. But she said it wasn't impossible for me to find something. She just said that it wasn't going to be like a home. It was going to be more like a condo or a townhouse. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. Let's just go check out a couple. So she sends me over a couple of listings. I also am looking on like realtor.com on my own time. And we created this list of like 15 listings, and my parents and I decided to make a day of it and go check out the listings. And we were going to meet my realtor out here because she was like in the city for some weird reason. And my place happened to be the second listing on our list, and they had an open house that day. And so we went to go check it out, and I was just in love. And then for the remaining like 13 listings, because like I said, this was the second one. So for the remaining 13 listings, I was just constantly thinking about this place. I didn't care about the other 13 or 14 listings on my list. And at the end of the day, Dina's my realtor, and she goes like, oh, what do you think? Like, which one like stood out to you the most? And I was just like, honestly, I really like the second one. I was just like, and I want that place to be mine. It hit a lot of check marks on my list. And even some on the want and need were both covered. So downside is it was more expensive than the other listings we had on our list. And so I wrote a letter I submitted an offer, but with the offer, I also wrote a letter to the homeowner, and I was just like, hey, I'm a young woman and I'm looking for a home, and I really liked what you've done to the place and how much respect you put into it. You can really tell, and blah, 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 something like that. And I think I appealed to her. She actually lowered the price for me, and she picked my offer above like 3 other offers she had gotten on the place, which, oh my God, I'm like so shocked. But yeah, and then, like I said, that happened in like all of February, and March happened, and it was like late March, and I moved. The moving process went semi-smooth. I got a U-Haul. It was pouring rain, because here in California, it only rains when it's like the winter months. It was pouring rain, so it was like really hard for me to move all my furniture and stuff without getting soaking wet. We didn't hire movers. We did it all by ourselves. But we got everything in, and yeah, it's really nice to be able to just kind of just look around and decorate the place the way you want it to be. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it, and I'm so happy here, guys. Like, I'm really happy here. My place has like a gym. They have multiple pools. They have like a really, really nice hiking trail that goes directly into downtown Walnut Creek. I'm in downtown. I'm also in walking distance to our public transit system that goes straight into San Francisco. So I was able to go to work, fairly easily. A lot easier than like commuting from Milpitas to San Francisco. It was horrible, but here it made it so much easier. And I'm like, honestly, I'm truly humbled. It really is nice to be just by myself and to call this place my own, and buy little trinkets here and there and on like how to decorate it. This like area right here is my favorite. I posted about it on my Instagram. But yeah, just being able to kind of express myself creatively and basically take what I learned from HGTV with Joanna Gaines and apply it to my home. I'm just like so happy. But for all of you who are struggling financially right now, like, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Like, financial advisors are so nice and they're really easy to work with. But it's really just like figuring out what you need and what you want. Or what you think is like a necessity, but it really isn't. And like really cutting out unnecessary costs. Like for me, I didn't go to Starbucks when I was trying to save money. I made coffee at home. Cause I just like, it's so expensive to buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks and they add up. So stuff like that, certain subscriptions that you can live without for a couple months will save you a ton of money. So just keep that in mind. For those of you who are also currently looking for a home, I hope you find your perfect home. Don't settle. Like, honestly, the right home will come to you and you'll find it. Don't settle on stuff that you don't completely fall in love with. I fell in love, or I liked the first listing I had a contract with, but I didn't love it. I loved this place and I couldn't stop thinking about it and I couldn't be happier. But yeah, I just wish that you guys find your happy ending and your perfect place. Because I did. And there's hope for everybody to find a place of their own and to just be happy in life. Go after your dreams. That's all I can say. Take a risk here and there. Save some money. And yeah. I don't know. I'm just really, really happy. But anyways, I thought I'd get on here and just kind of share that. I'm really happy I was able to film a video and just talk about it because I haven't talked about my house like at all. And this is the most exposure I have given to anybody outside of my family on what my house looks like. And this is just my bedroom. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go. gonna get some lunch, but I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope I start making videos more often because I miss you guys. Anyways, okay, bye.